In the light of the recent terrorist attack in Pahalgam that led to the tragic loss of innocent lives, how can one cope with the deep emotional distress, grief, and moral anguish? Dear friends, this is a very, very sensitive topic. All of us are aware, that the amount of suffering that people went through during this particular event is is really very, very distressful. If anyone imagines, that generates a deep grief and lot of anger within oneself, within the society. And and there is a natural tendency in human being, whenever a human being sees an injustice happening, an adharma happening, a natural reaction comes from within. The question is, how do we cope with it? How do we channelize it? Before we go to the learned audience here, I would like to ask my students, how would they want to answer this particular question? Anna?
Good morning, sir. Good morning,
Yes.
everyone. So, my papa was in army, and
Oh.
he was staying in Kashmir, in Baramulla, when this surgical strike too happened.
Mm.
And at the same time, I was staying with him. So we were away from our family. Both the sides were very disturbed. My family side, and here my father and me staying alone with no contacts, nothing. That is a feeling, sir, we can't suppress. Like,
Mm.
we can't tell again and again to ourselves, okay, let's just suppress it, or let's forget. Because for my family, it was a very difficult time.
Mm.
Of course, we have to channelize that. Rather suppressing or forgetting, we have to channelize those emotions. So, like, we should go to our scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna said, every time adharma happens, I'll come and rescue. Like, yada, in that shloka, yada yada hi dharmasya. So we have to keep hope and faith.
Yes, so Tarana, I can understand how distressing it is. Even, people who hear such things suffer so much, how much distressing it would be for those families who have actually gone through or are at risk of developing such kind of, incidences in their own lives. So Tarana basically very beautifully said that hope and faith are very important. She quoted a Bhagavad Gita shloka where Krishna says that whenever adharma increases, I come and bring the dharma. So it brings our faith in justice, that justice will happen. Even if as a human being we escape, the karma never escapes. The karma will always bring things to justice. Okay, let us hear from Brinda.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Yes.
Sir, I feel that there are many ways to cope. One thing is like how Tarana said, leave it to God. You're feeling distress. The pain is very intense. So
Mm.
you say, okay, God, take care of them. Give hope to the people, and give strength to them is one way. Other than that, it's just like the 4 parts of yoga. If you choose to follow Jnana Yoga, one would think of finding a actual way to deal with this. Either rather than sitting here and complaining, oh, this happened, that happened, one could go and face it, enter into politics, go get in the army, find an actual solution where you will do a what make an impact to the society and protect the country. This can be more like, if you go into politics or anything, you'll be a gnana yogi or a karma yogi if you do this. If not, you will prepare yourself to be unaffected by this. This is going to happen no matter what. I alone cannot change the system or whatever is happening. So I will maybe do mastery over myself and make me resilient to not be affected by such kind of incidents. Maybe these
Yeah,
three ways.
Brinda, so how do you do that? See, basically, not everybody can join army, not everybody can join politics. Common man suffers, common man feels distressed. So the question is, how how does one cope with that? Hmm? You said one should bring that inner strength, but how? That is the question now. Okay, Vibha.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everybody. I kind of disagree with what Brinda says. I think as a human, we are connected to each other. Maybe I am not personally went through all this situation, but the things happening will have an impact on us. And even if we grow spiritually, it doesn't mean that we are emotionally shut down. When people are suffering in front of us, it's obvious to have an impact on us. If that doesn't, it means that we are not, the humanity is not in the proper, I don't know. And um, even I just want to go with the bhakti path because I cannot stop my Swadharma. I want to stick to my Swadharma. In the same situation, I want to go for good. So I would go for Bhakti path. I would say all this is happening. I would surrender to my personal deity and ask strength and to the people who are personally going through all the situation and ask for compassion or the spark of humanity in people who are doing all these things. And to the other people who are not directly involved, I would ask for hope, faith, and totally I would ask for bhakti altogether as a community. In humanity, the bhakti should be enhanced.
Yes, Vibha, thank you very much. Vibha said that spirituality doesn't mean emotional shutdown or an escape. It person has to be sensitive. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita, because Arjuna was sensitive to the suffering of others, then that only created that platform for inner journey of Arjuna, and Bhagavad Gita could manifest. So very, very beautiful point, Vibha. And Vibha, based on her nature, she says that she will channelize all that distress into wholehearted prayer and strength for everybody. You use another very beautiful word, swadharma. That is what we have to understand more in detail. Okay, let me now go to the audience here. There are a lot of experts, regular yoga practitioners who have been doing this for last 5 years with us. Let us hear their views as well.
And this terrorist act, why it is coming because of their poverty and injustice and social equality is not there. So they want to take act. So in the Islam, they never say that terrorism is prohibited in the Islam, as far as my knowledge is concerned. Only in the late 19th century, the kings and those rulers, like they want to spread the Islam, they become a fanatics. So because of the fanatics, such heinous act are taking place in the world also. So anyhow, the peace has to be brought. Not to the war is not the end for the such heinous act. For example, we are going through the Israel and Palestine and also the Russia and Ukraine. So such which is not will not come to an end. So the war should not be there. There should interfaith faith talks should go on, and they should live peacefully and come to one conclusion that terrorism should be suppressed. Both the nations, whether Pakistan or India or even the world, should fight for the terrorism. That's what I feel. And of course, we have to think there. We have to empathy with the persons who are affected, and we have
Yes,
to
yes,
console
yes.
them. And
Thank you, Gandhi
and
sir. Because of the limited time, we got your response very apt response. Gandhi sir said that the energy that is being generated should be channelized towards educating the new generation, creating more awareness. No? So that is one direction. And another way in which he said is that we should offer our compassion and whatever support that we can offer to those who are suffering. Gandhi sir also brought in a point that war may not be a complete solution here, no, but then the other aspect is talks have been going on. Talks have been going on for a long time, but they have also not resulted in any solution. So therefore, this is the situation that we are in. Let us hear from Sanjeev Shah ji. Sanjeev sir.
तो एक्चुअली सबसे पहले तो जिन लोगों के भी परिवार के लोग वहां पे इस दुर्घटना के शिकार हुए हैं, सबसे पहले उनके प्रति वाकई कोई शब्द नहीं कहने को, पर हम सहानुभूति प्रकट कर सकते हैं। और मैं गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया को अपील करना चाहूंगा कि ऐसी कंडीशन में जो लोग मरते हैं, स्पेशली आतंकवाद के जो शिकार होते हैं, उन लोगों को जैसे हम अपने सेना के शहीदों को दर्जा देते हैं, उस तरह का दर्जा दिया जाना चाहिए, उस तरह की श्रद्धांजलि दी जानी चाहिए, उस तरह की सुविधाएं, कंपनसेशन जो भी हैं वो सारी दी जानी चाहिए। सबसे पहले ये उन लोगों के लिए है जो परिवार गुजर गया। और ये सच है सर कि आज कुछ निर्दोष लोग, जिन लोगों ने कभी सोचा भी नहीं होगा कि ऐसा हो सकता है, जो अपने परिवार के साथ अपनी खुशी को बड़ा करने, आनंद लेने, प्रकृति का आनंद लेने, देश की स्वतंत्रता का आनंद लेने वहां गए थे, उन लोगों के साथ ऐसा हुआ है तो दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। पर यह भी सच है सर कि हमारी सेना भी रोज ही इन चीजों को झेल रही है। और सिर्फ सेना ही नहीं, जाने अनजाने, प्रत्यक्ष अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से आतंकवाद हमारे देश के लगभग हर व्यक्ति को शिकार बना रहा है। जैसे अभी हम लोग मानसिक रूप से परेशान हो रहे हैं। तो मैं इस तरफ अगर इसके उपाय की तरफ बढ़ने को सोचता हूं तो सबसे पहले मुझे जो चीज समझ में आती है वो ये है कि हम अपने मन से भय को बाहर निकालें, क्योंकि मृत्यु जो है वो बिल्कुल निश्चित है सर। मुझे खान सर, ये हमारे यहाँ एक पढ़ाते हैं बिहार के खान सर, उनकी बात याद आती है। बड़ा हल्के मूड में उन्होंने कहा कि देखिए जिंदगी तो फिक्स है, अब आप 60 के मरो, 65 के मरो, या चाहे जितने के मरो, मरोगे ही। तो कहते हैं कि किसी बिस्तर पर पड़े हुए बेड नंबर फलाना मर गया, ऐसा होने के बजाय अपने देश के लिए मर जाओ, वो ज्यादा अच्छी बात है। इसी मुद्दे पर वो बात कर रहे थे, बहुत अच्छा लगा। वो भी मुस्लिम है, पर उन्होंने जो कुछ भी कहा वो बहुत हृदय को छूने वाला था, बहुत अच्छा था। और मैंने महसूस किया सर कि कश्मीर के लोगों को भी, जो एक्चुअली मुस्लिम हैं, बाय द वे मुस्लिम अभी सबकी नजर में आ रहे हैं, और कौम के हिसाब से थोड़ी तो गड़बड़ है, पर व्यक्ति के हिसाब से देखेंगे तो हम शायद थोड़े सहानुभूतिपूर्ण होना चाहिए हम सबको। तो एक्चुअली जो कश्मीर के मुस्लिम हैं उनको भी उतनी ही ज्यादा परेशानी हुई, उतनी ज्यादा समस्याएं आई हैं। और सबसे अच्छी बात यह है कि देश के तौर पे, राष्ट्र के तौर पे और एक कौम के तौर पे भी उन लोगों ने बहिष्कार किया है आतंकवाद का। हम सबों को भी उसमें एकजुट होना चाहिए। तो हम अपने जीवन में भी भय से बाहर निकलें, और जो सेना का मोटिव है, जिस तरह से सैनिक हमारे काम करते हैं, उस तरह से हमें भी अपने अंदर उस तरह के विचार रखने चाहिए, उस तरह की फिटनेस रखनी चाहिए, फिजिकल फिटनेस। एक्चुअली मैं खुद कहता हूं कि शायद हर बच्चे को वाकई 1 साल 2 साल के लिए सेना में शामिल होना चाहिए, राष्ट्रभक्ति आनी चाहिए, और आपके अंदर उस तरह की क्या बोलते हैं, तो हर तरह से तैयार होना चाहिए आपको कि सैनिक की तरह आप लड़ सके। आप जरा सोच के देखें, वहां पे 1,500 लोग थे और वो 5 लोग थे। अगर उनमें ऐसे लोग होते जो लड़ सकते, जो आगे बढ़ सकते, देश की सोच रहे होते, या फिर उस समय के खतरे के बारे में सोच रहे होते, उनमें से अगर 150 लोग लड़ने को आ गए होते, तो क्या वो आतंकवादी उधर से निकल सकते थे? ये सही है कि हमें लॉस हुआ है, लेकिन हम सेना की दृष्टि से देखें अगर, तो ये लॉस और बड़े रोज होते रहते हैं। जैसे हम बस सिविलियन होने के नाते कह सकते हैं कि ये जिम्मेदारी मेरी नहीं है और हमसे टालते रहते हैं। मैं चाहता हूं कि इस अर्थ में हम लोग जिम्मेदार बने।
क्या बात।
और हम मंत्र पढ़ते हैं, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया। हम उसमें सोचते हैं, कहते हैं सबके कल्याण की बात सोचते हैं, तो जो हमारी सरकार है या फिर पूरी दुनिया की जो दुनिया का जो सिस्टम है, उसे निश्चित रूप से इस तरफ ध्यान देना चाहिए कि जो लोग पीछे हैं, बहुत पीछे हैं, जैसे मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी की बात कर रहा हूँ, चाहे किसी भी पिछड़े देश की बात करें, कम्युनिटी कोई भी हो, जहाँ अशिक्षा है, जहाँ गरीबी है, वहाँ लोगों को इन चीजों में इन्वॉल्व करना, ऐसी गतिविधियों में इन्वॉल्व करना बहुत आसान होता है। उससे हमें निकलना होगा, सारी दुनिया को निकलना होगा। समानता थोड़ी लानी पड़ेगी। ये जो पूंजीवादी समाज बना जा रहा है, जिसमें असल में कुछ लोग और धनी और धनी और मोटे और समझदार और एडवांस होते चले जा रहे हैं, और उसके जस्ट दूसरी तरफ कुछ लोग बहुत पीछे चले जा रहे हैं। उन लोगों के पास, मैं ये तो नहीं कहूंगा कि दूसरा रास्ता नहीं होता, पर इतना जरूर सच है कि जो दुष्प्रवृत्ति वाले लोग हैं, दुष्ट लोग हैं, उन्हें बहुत आसान शिकार मिल जाते हैं। अपनी मनोकामना को पूर्ण करने का बढ़िया जरिया मिल जाता है। वो जो राजनीतिज्ञ हैं, उन लोगों को मौका मिल जाता है। वो जो पूंजीवादी हैं, जिन्हें बस किसी तरह से पैसे निकालने हैं, उन्हें मौका मिल जाता है। और ये कंट्रीज हैं, कम्युनिटी, कौम है सर, अलग अलग कौम है, अलग अलग देश हैं जो इस तरह के ही काम करते हैं। उनसे बचने के लिए हमें वर्ल्ड लेवल पे काम करना चाहिए। हम परमात्मा से तो प्रार्थना कर ही सकते हैं कि इन्हें भी सद्बुद्धि दें। उन लोगों को जो आतंकवादी नहीं है, जो असल में धनी हैं और जो लोग पावरफुल हैं, उन लोगों को सद्बुद्धि दें। हमारे जो राजनीतिज्ञ हैं, उनको सद्बुद्धि दें। ये प्रार्थना परमात्मा से करें, और हम भी ऐसे ही लोगों को चुने, ऐसे ही लोगों को सपोर्ट करें। और एक बात जो इस समस्या का मूल समाधान भारत में इस समय टू द पॉइंट है, वो ये है कि आतंकवाद ने असल में हम सब के दिल में दुराव पैदा किया है, हिंदू और मुस्लिम के बीच में। ये उनका एजेंडा था, इसलिए उन्होंने हिंदू और मुस्लिम जैसे शब्दों को इस्तेमाल किया है, और ऐसे हमेशा करते रहते हैं। हमारा सबसे पहला काम है मेरे ख्याल में कि हम सब अपने भय से बाहर निकल गए। अगर मुझसे पूछें तो मैं चाहूंगा कि हम सब आवाज दें। अभी जिन लोगों ने हमने बात किया है, हम सब एक साथ एकजुट होकर के अभी प्रण करें कि हम कहीं और जाएं ना जाएं। सबसे पहले पहलगाम जाएंगे घूमने के लिए, वहीं जाएंगे, उसी जगह पे जाएंगे, पूरे कश्मीर में जाएंगे, इतने ज्यादा जाएंगे कि गवर्नमेंट को भी मजबूर हो जाना पड़े वहां पे व्यवस्था करने के लिए। और वहां के जो कश्मीर में जो मुस्लिम लोग हैं, जिन्हें लगता है कि हम उनके दुश्मन हैं या उन्हें हम दुश्मन टारगेट कर चुके हैं, उन्हें भी लगे कि नहीं, हमें गलत नहीं समझा जा रहा है। हम वहां पे
क्या।
और ज्यादा सुविधाएं देंगे, और ज्यादा पैसे देंगे, खर्च करेंगे, उनकी आर्थिक स्थिति को मजबूत करेंगे कि वो भी मूल धारा में, हमारे साथ जीवन की इस धारा में, देश के राष्ट्रभक्ति की धारा में पूरी तरह आ सके और आतंकवाद का समूल विनाश कर सके। ये कहीं के लिए भी उतना ही आवश्यक है सर, हमारे लिए भी आवश्यक है। हमें अपने अंदर से, अपने मतलब क्या बोलना चाहिए, व्यक्ति के दायरे से निकल करके, परिवार के दायरे से निकल करके, समाज के दायरे से निकल करके देश के लेवल पे सोचना है, और देश के लेवल के बाद फिर विश्व के लेवल पे सोचना है सर।
यस।
थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू संजीव जी, बहुत ही सुंदर जवाब। संजीव जी has brought in very beautiful insights. First of all, he said that all of us should be prepared physically, mentally. There should be a training for children. All the civilians, should be equipped with the tools for self-defense, and as well as, if somebody offends, we should be able to respond. Second thing, he said that at the same time, we should also look at educating and creating more awareness. One side, we make ourselves strong. Second side, we create an awareness in the society and remain united in these times of crisis. And with this unity, he appealed to the people of India that we should not stop going to Pahalgam. We should go to Pahalgam, we should go in large numbers, and we should show that such acts will not be able to deter our willpower and our devotion to our nation. Very beautiful, Sanjeev sir. Thank you very much. Anybody else would like to share their views before we look at Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna tells us?
Yeah. Good morning, sir. This is Surya. Sir,
Huh.
I agree with a few points that Sanjeev Shah sir said. That we should enable the youth, and everyone should have at least 1 or 2 years of practical self-defense, not only for terrorist attacks, but this can help us in any other situation also, not necessarily only for a terrorist, like especially for women's safety when they're traveling alone. So on that, I agree with sir. The second thing is, sir, we as the layman public, we watch news channels. I think the media should just curb down a bit on what they are reporting, and sometimes I feel they will let out the secrets of what the plan the government has, and this will alert the enemy or the terrorist or the other party, whatever you want to call it. So I used to watch the news, but now I've stopped because it's just playing on my mind, and I don't want to get biased or affected more by it. So yes, initially the response was I was very angry. Like, I know we are practicing yoga and we should show restraint, but the first reaction is I just imagine what if I had gone with my parents and my siblings and I witnessed this. I'm
Yes.
sure at the first time I'll be so angry that I would myself want to pick up a gun and shoot. But I know it's
Yes.
not possible. Yeah, but that is what is the emotion that comes. I'm not
Yes.
related to anyone, but it makes me so angry. So,
Yes.
and it's not, my hatred is not against a particular community or religion. I have friends from all communities and faiths. But I
Yes.
think the government should go and the army should go and do their job, not advertise too much about it, whatever they have to do, the action. And, uh, and like I keep saying my japas.
Mm.
So that is the way I try to calm myself when I'm getting agitated. Like right now, even when I'm telling you what I feel, but
Mm.
it it happens. But then after some time, you have to do these deep breaths. I mean, I do these deep breaths and try to calm myself. But the emotion sometimes overrides me. But I'm trying to keep calm because I'm not equipped to go and fight like most of us here. But this is the way I'm trying to handle the situation. I've not handled it fully, but I'm trying.
Yes.
So I have now stopped reading those newspapers, and you get these WhatsApp forwards which instigate one community against another. So I've told all my friends, don't send me these messages, or I just delete them. I don't even open it. If I just know something is anti a community, I just delete it because I don't want to get affected by it. So on this very personal level is how I am coping with it. But yes, I'm angry because when there is injustice done, there has to be justice. So when I discuss and talk with my auntie, she also says it's not our job. Let every person in their respective field do their job. So yeah, this is the way I'm dealing with it. I
Yes.
don't know if
Yes.
it's right.
Suryaji, thank you. Very genuine expression of what you felt. And when a person, feels anger against adharma, it is something which God only has created the human being in such a way. It is something that is being created because that energy that rises within us against the adharma is rising because there is an aspect of creation in us which wants to destroy that. So therefore, if somebody after seeing all this also doesn't get any kind of feeling or any anger within him, there is something problematic. No, that is what we see in Bhagavad Gita when Arjuna expresses the grief, of a sensitive heart is not weakness. Arjuna felt it too. How does he express that? When he just imagines that his kith and kin are going to die, he expresses that I am developing symptoms of extreme grief. My limbs are giving away. My mouth is getting dried up. And this is just by imagining such situation that Arjuna is feeling this grief. This shows that it is not our weakness. If this emotion is rising within us, there is some purpose for this emotion to serve. It is not there simply to suppress or divert it to something else. It needs a proper right direction to channelize it. So this is known as sattvic dukkha. A person who has evolved in spirituality, he feels this sattvic dukkha, a pain, a suffering, when he sees the suffering of others, especially when he sees gross injustice happening in front of him. And I feel that this fire of anger that is there against the adharma is actually very pious, and it has to be nourished, it has to be channelized, and it should not be just be considered, as something that needs to be suppressed. So it is the first response of a heart aligned with dharma. Like Arjuna, this is the beginning of inner journey. This particular fire, that anguish that is there within us, that is the beginning for our inner journey towards our dharma. But at the same time, we also see that dharma doesn't mean escapism. When I see people talk of dharma, they then start preaching, okay, so then peace should be there, and for peace, violence will again lead to more violence. And that is what Arjuna started telling. Once he got this fire within him, his immediate response was, he started moving towards escapism. Then he said, okay, so people are going to suffer, people have already suffered. So ultimately, in the long run, ahimsa and peace is only going to win. So let us follow that path. And then he started saying that, okay, then let me go to a forest, pray for everybody, pray for well-being, pray for sadbuddhi to these Kauravas. May God give them sadbuddhi. That is the approach that he adopted. And Krishna, vehemently, very strongly opposed this approach. He said, no, the fire that you have got within you should not be dampened by channelizing towards just simply some beautiful words and talks. It has to be channelized into a right action. You cannot just allow this fire to wean off by giving lectures, by talking about peace. The time has come that there should be an action. Niyatam kuru karma tvam karma jyayo ya karmanaha sharira yatrapi cha tena prasiddhaye akarmanaha. Krishna tells, you should always perform your prescribed duties, since action is always superior than inaction. By ceasing activity, even your survival will not be possible. If everybody starts thinking like this, if everybody starts thinking of the, peace and spirituality and withdrawal and sannyasa, the very survival, nobody will be able to survive. Those who are talking of peace also will get killed, if that is the way that we channelize our energies. So while the heart weeps for the innocent, the response should not stop at mourning. There should be some action that should come. Now, the question that comes is then, what is this right action? What is this swadharma that we are talking about? The emotion that has come, there are two ways, generally the emotion go. One, it gets completely dampened because one starts moving it into thoughts, and then one starts thinking about it, and then justifies it, and then just does nothing out of it, and it just gets evaporated in the thinking process. That is one way in which this fire of against the adharma gets channelized. Other is one gets caught up by that fire and then allows that fire to go uncontrolled. Then one becomes cruel, develops hatred towards everybody, start generalizing that fire towards everybody. That fire will again burn you. So both the approaches, where one, you don't do anything, keep thinking about it. Other, you make that fire go out without control. Both of them are not the ways according to Krishna. Conscious action, not impulsive reaction, is worship. We need to keep a futuristic vision as well, but at the same time, take an action. So this is the approach. At the same time, one should not lose control over emotions, because Krishna says, Krodhat bhavati sammoha. When krodha will rise too much, your mind will start getting deluded. And that will actually cause bewilderment of your memory, smriti vibhrama. And from smriti vibhrama, your intellectual capacity to think, analyze the situation properly will get destroyed, and then you will not be able to do the right action. Now you see, our government also did not just, the day the attack happened, many people are actually suggesting that the next day itself you should have blasted them, you should have destroyed Pakistan. No, doesn't happen like that. You cannot allow the emotion to overpower you and take hasty decisions like that. You have to channelize the energy in the right direction, go to the very roots from where the problem is arising. Definitely, you have to manage it at the superficial level also, but you have to manage it at the depth also. So both the approaches have to be calculated, and that fire that is within us, like it is there with fire everywhere. If you use it in controlled manner, you can generate electricity, you can cook food, you can do lot of constructive activities, protect yourself against animals, and many things that can be done by fire. But if that fire goes out of control, it can destroy us also. So in the same way, this particular emotion or anguish that is there within us, it has to be channelized. So one can be fierce without hatred, strong without cruelty. It is not that you don't have to kill. If there are terrorists, if there are people putting an evil eye on the country, we have to kill them. But then we should not be doing this driven by our emotions. We should be doing this driven by our buddhi, driven by our higher senses. Then in the third chapter, Krishna talks about the swadharma aspect. He tells that yajnarthot karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma konteya mukta sanga samachara. If the karma, is not done as a yajna, as a service to the Lord, the very Lord that we are serving is the one who told Arjuna that, Arjuna, please pick up your Gandiva and fight. This is not the time that you talk of this philosophy or run away from your duties. You are a Kshatriya. Your duty is to fight, and therefore, please stand up and give away, this emotional weakness. This doesn't suit you. But at the same time, he also tells him that when you are fighting, do not fight for the hatred in your heart. Fight for the higher values. Fight for the culture of this nation. Fight for this Samskriti which has survived for 5,000 years, which is at stake. For this higher knowledge, for this higher purpose, well-being of the whole world, that expanded vision that you should have, for that you should fight. It was very easy, for Krishna to tell that, okay, for peace, for lakhs of people died in Mahabharata. Many people still say that war could have been avoided because it was an act of violence and many people died. But then if you look at it through the futuristic vision, if, there were only talks in Mahabharata, the way the politics was going on, Dhritarashtra was completely supportive of his son, and Pandavas agreed even for 5 villages that were not given. Okay, say diplomacy worked and they got 5 villages. But then who becomes the king? Duryodhana becomes the king. So the whole nation is under the rule of a king who is with adharma. Then what happens? Generations and generations suffer. So rather than the future generations to suffer, a few lakh dying now is better. That was the vision with which Krishna told that one should fight the war now, that this adharma has to be killed. So sublimate your sorrow for the innocents to become the firewood in the yajna for dharma. Now you identify your swadharma. What is my swadharma? No, swadharma is not about choosing the path of yoga. Swadharma is about looking at your qualities. If you are a person who is Kshatriya, if you are in a profession where you are a Kshatriya, CRPF, local civil police, army, people in law, people in any way where they can bring justice to things, they can resist this injustice, acting as a Kshatriya. So there, your role is go in front and face it, confront the situation. If the youth that is there in the country really feels that one is good, one is physically fit, one is mentally fit, then they should join army and fight right up front. That is the swadharma. If you die for the nation like that, there is no bigger worship than that. That is what Krishna tells Arjuna. There are other group of people like, Suryaji told there is a housewife. She said, I can't do anything. No, you can also serve. How can a Shudra serve? Shudra is not anything negative. All doctors are Shudras. All nurses are Shudras. All people who like serving others. If you have this desire in your heart that whenever you feed other, you feel happy, you are a Shudra. Whenever you help other, you feel happy, you are a Shudra. So such kind of people, they should actually take up the charge where in whatever way possible, they should serve. If you are around the people who have suffered in this particular incidents, go and serve them, go and help them. That is one aspect. You can serve army, you can serve the people who are there in front from behind. So service can also be done in generating proper awareness into the society, what brahmanas do. All the teachers in this country, can they take up this responsibility that the young generation that they are bringing in forth, they will bring correct insight and knowledge into them, they will bring correct awareness into them, so that the new generation of this nation which is coming up is completely aware and is not confused at all regarding one's swadharma and right action that is to be done. What can Vaishyas do? Vaishyas are the people who run the economy. So such kind of people can contribute generously through their money, through whichever way that they can contribute in providing facilities and infrastructure to the nation, so that one is able to defend this ancient, beautiful Sanskriti, which is always been, in such kind of a situation where from the ancient times there were Rakshasas trying to destroy the Yajnas. Now there are these Rakshasas which are trying to destroy this civilization. And it is our duty now to come up in whichever situation that you are in. Can you just a line that spreads correct awareness? If you find somebody who is going towards an extreme of talking about peace, taking spirituality in the wrong way, bring this perspective of Bhagavad Gita, that same thing Arjuna was telling, but Krishna wanted him to fight. On the other hand, if you find somebody who tells that Muslim word means have to be killed or have to have hatred, then tell them that no, this anger needs to be directed towards a specific mindset, not towards a specific religion. So it is in this way that awareness has to grow in society. And this holy action, is fueled by the purified grief that we have within. Every talk that you give at any platform, you should make sure that this awareness spreads. As a scientist, as a researcher, when I talk, I make sure that the audience that is there in front of me, I am able to channelize my anguish there and bring that awareness, that glow into the heart of the audience that is there. I have to do my karma. I cannot leave my job here and take a gun and go to the border. But I can allow that fire within me to be there, and then whichever area, wherever I find an opportunity, wherever I meet a small child, wherever I meet an adolescent, wherever I have a discussion, I try to remove the veil of darkness or whatever confusion that is there in the society around me and bring clear perspective. It is this fire and anger within me only that is now making me talk and bring these slokas from Bhagavad Gita to all of you. This is my Swadharma. In the same way, you can also fulfill your Swadharma in whichever field that you are in whichever area that you are in whatever way that you can do, you should stand for the nation. There is no greater worship than this. There is no greater bhakti than this. This is not the time to sit and do japa or japamala. This is the time to allow this fire to get into right action. I'm not saying you should not take the name of God. While taking the name of God, ma manusmara yuddhacha. You remember me, but also fight, also do the action. It is not complete that you just sit and remember me and pray that I will do. The God only is manifesting in the form of human beings who are all here. God is only bringing this anguish and fire within us so that we are able to channelize it into action. Therefore, action is very, very important. And when a person, does a conscious action, it resonates in the society around. Krishna says, Saktaha karmanya vidvanso yatha kurvanti bharata loka sangraham. So he says that how a person who is attached to the fruits of the action is very asakta. That kind of an action should be done by a person without attachment. As ignorant people perform their duty with attachment to the results, O Bharata, so should the wise act without attachment for the sake of leading people on the right path. See, terrorists come and kill because they have an attachment. Army also goes and kills, but they act for a higher purpose. They act for a higher swadharma. No, they are not acting for their selfish ego there. So that is an action without attachment. And society often unconsciously imitates the behavior of those it admires. Therefore, especially, learned people who are there in this meeting, you have greater responsibility. If you start talking confusing words, it creates more confusion. Krishna says for Lok Sangraha, a person who is in a position to influence others should not get attached to inaction. He should act in the same way as a person who is very rajasic is acting, but with inner detachment. Na buddhi bhedam janayed jnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidwan yuktah samacharan. So Krishna tells the wise should not create discord in the intellects of ignorant people who are attached to fruitive action by inducing them to stop work. Rather, by performing their duties in an enlightened manner, they should inspire the ignorant also to do their prescribed duties. This is our duty. This is the right karma that all of us have to do. All of us have to contribute towards nation building, towards nation protecting, in whatever role that has been assigned to us by the divine. So, Krishna says, even when you are doing such kind of actions, you have to understand that it is not you that who is acting, it is the divine that is acting through you. So prakritehe kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudatma karta aham iti manyate. Even when you do your swadharma, please feel that the anguish, the anger that came within you, it was not created by you. It automatically came within you. Why did it come? Because divine wanted it to come. Then that anger and anguish within you is getting channelized into some kind of an action. That action also is not done by you. We in physiology actually read about it. The muscles, they require calcium to contract. Who created this calcium? The acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that is released at the muscle junction, who is creating and releasing that? The various neurotransmitters that are getting released in the brain, everything is done by the gunas of the prakriti. Only thing that as a human being we can do is become aware, become more self-aware, offer ourselves to a higher purpose, and allow that divinity to manifest through us, and do not have that sense of doership. Whenever adharma rises, it is the same divine Krishna who rises in everybody's heart as the dharma and does the action. So all activities are governed by the modes of nature, but the ignorant feels that I am the doer. No, you are not the doer. You are an instrument of the divine, and allow that divinity to manifest through you with complete awareness. That is the way that Krishna wants us to respond to this particular situation. I take, opportunity to use this platform to appeal to the whole nation, that this is the time that all of us have to stand. There should not be any confusion anywhere, and all of us have to do action, the right action, which contributes towards protecting this ancient civilization on one side, and at the other side, it destroys everything, anything that puts an evil eye on this civilization. Thank you very much. Please contemplate on this. Anybody would like to share any other views or would like to respond to what I have said?
So, like we were saying, when we have to take the action, like God is the doer, and He is making us do this for righteousness and channelize it in the right way. So when all these negative things are happening in the world, like war and terrorism, and so even God is playing a role in that. So does this mean that the Kali Yuga, to come out pure, you first have to destroy? Like destruction comes first and then the purity.
No,
When you
Surya.
have those, like, what is it? Like, I'm not getting it.
Very beautiful question, Surya. Surya is saying that if God is everywhere, even these terrorists, they are doing their activity with their own gunas. So that is also done in a way by God only because God is everywhere. No, not like that. See, fire is not everywhere. Fire is everywhere, but fire will manifest wherever you have proper equipment for the fire to manifest. Correct? In a way, energy is everywhere. Energy is everywhere. If you have two stones and if you are able to rub them together, you will get fire here. Correct? If fire is
Yes.
everywhere, does it mean that everything is burning? No. But, the darkness can be anywhere. Wherever there is fire, the darkness will be dispelled. Correct? So in the same way, energy is everywhere. Wherever on this planet, wherever you rub two stones together, fire will come and it will remove the darkness. Correct? Like that, divine is everywhere, but the divine needs manifestation in the heart. That manifestation of the divine can happen in me more than you, can happen in you more than me. In a third person, it may not happen at all. It may be completely suppressed. So, in these terrorists who do such kind of action, their divine fire in their heart is completely gone. There is no fire, there is only darkness. There is only darkness there. No? But when we read Bhagavad Gita, when we get this Jnanagni Dagdha Karmanam, when we read this, when we discuss, then we are able to ignite that within us. Now, this particular fire manifests in a graded fashion from human being to human being, depending on how much sadhana you do, how much awareness you have, how much bhakti you have, how much of the yoga that you follow. For example, this manifests in much more intense way in yogis. For example, we have yogis like Shri Ravi Shankar ji is there, Sadguru is there, Mata Amritanandamayi is there, Pujya Shri Premanandji Maharaj is there. So there are people who are manifesting this fire way more than common man. There are in our family members itself, we see that some people have those kind of confusion, they create conflicts, they manifest that fire lesser to a lesser extent. Whereas some people come and they resolve all the conflicts, they are able to see clearly what is going on and they are able to help. These people are manifesting that fire more. So therefore, please understand that fire is everywhere, divine is everywhere, but God has given this choice to human being. That is why Krishna tells that you should do karma, niyatam karma na tyajet. Please do not give up your duties, hold on to your karma. Mam anusmara yuddha cha. Please remember me and then do your karma. So the light that is there within you should be channelized. Not only that the light should come, the light should actually manifest in a productive action into the society. It should always be behavioral. Bhagavad Gita is all behavior. It doesn't encourage too much of thinking. It says that action should come. So please do not have that kind of confusion. Our duty is to go against the darkness with our full force. Wherever you see darkness around you, light the fire. That is our duty.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much, sir. Very, very beautifully told, sir.